I'm sitting with I can call you a friend at this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
man, you're in the house.
I'm in the house now.
You're in the house, man. Whatever's in here is yours, man.
Kids in the background.
I
know your wife. I'm with my guy, Cory Aldridge. You may be one of the hardest working behind the scenes men that I've met in the last couple of years since I've got my foot into the sports industry. You don't stop.
I really enjoy being busy, man. I know when I first retired baseball, the hardest part for most guys is figuring out what you're going to do. I didn't make tons and tons of millions of dollars, but I had tons of respect from people, my peers around me. So I got a couple calls to start getting into youth baseball. I didn't want to get into pro ball. And you start developing a little bit of a clientele of hitters and players and stuff. And man, I enjoy being in the cage. We went on vacation a couple of weeks ago, where I say vacation, her job function, and we were there for 3 or 4 days. But literally the whole time I'm still doing videos, enjoying doing it. It really don't stop. I enjoy it, man. It is work, and there's some times where it can suck, but I enjoy doing it, man. It's the hardest part is everything's usually kind of in the afternoon when everybody else is kind of getting up.
All right. So right now we're in Katy,
yeah,
which is it's basically Houston.
Yeah, basically, it's Houston.
But you're not from Houston.
No, I'm from Abilene, Texas.
Abilene, Texas. However, you played in California.
Mm-hmm.
You've played in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Why settle in Houston?
Well, my wife, you probably can't see her, she's over there, but you can obviously. But that's where she was basically working. So I met her brother, my wife's brother, I guess now my brother-in-law, like back in, I guess say 1998 when I was playing like A-ball, or 98 or 99. So I didn't really know her that well. It all kind of came together. I happened to be playing in Houston, getting ready to go play winter ball in like Mexico or Venezuela. She happened to be at a game, kind of put two and two together, like, hey, I know this guy. Me and him got mutual friends. We knew of each other, didn't really know each other. But some of her friends that she went to school with ended up playing with the Angels with me.
Right.
And so she saw me and was like, hey, I think I know you. And I was like, yeah, I think I know you possibly too. So I kind of looked at her friends list, vice versa. So I hit my friends and I said, hey man, this girl here, give me the scoop. The scout report was okay. It was pretty solid. So we pursued a friendship, and it ended up, I didn't want to be in Abilene.
No. What's in Abilene? Is it a Whataburger at least?
It is a Whataburger. There's not a lot there, man. You got, Abilene's basically old oil money and Cowboys, man. Back in the day, they used to have like PGA Tour events, a lot of concerts. The first time I met Slim Thug was in Abilene, believe it or not. That's back when they were screwed, I guess, Boss Hog, Outlaws, all that kind of stuff. They used to do concerts and stuff there, but when they was getting started, but ain't much there anymore. They used to have a bunch of little clubs and bars. I think they just now started letting things stay open till like 1:30. So you used to have everything closed at like 12. But if you're not a cowboy with oil money or something, that's all you got, man.
So it's not Houston.
No, a lot of us, when I say us, people of color, man, we kind of fall by the wayside because of kind of lack of knowledge. And to me, if you was an Abilene, especially when I was coming up, it was either if you ain't playing sports, you just gonna work a 9 to 5 or some other stuff, you can kind of figure that out for yourself, but it was just sports and nothing else, because you didn't really see people around Abilene that looked like you doing anything. Like I had a great support system with my parents. My parents did well, my stepdad did pretty well. It was a process, so I got to watch him go through, being like the only home builder in Abilene who's black or whatever, a person of color, to being one of the biggest home builders in Texas, being invited to the White House. But I've watched that transformation as a young kid to I guess you're an adult, which was kind of empowering to me to see, like, okay, well, I guess you can do more than just play sports. So, but at the same time, like Abilene, it's just tough. I have a son there that's right there, and he's kind of going through that process of, what's my next goal if I don't play sports? What's my next goal? What am I going to do? And, I try to talk to his mom about, some.
So he's still in Abilene.
He's still in Abilene. I've been trying to get her to come out here, and she has some relatives out here, but also her mom and stuff's out there. So I say, I wish that she would bring him out here. He would come out here because he can see other people that look like him.
There's so much
prosper.
more.
It's so much more. It's more empowering here, whether you're a good kid or not. That empowerment is what these kids need, especially for people of color.
So he plays sports.
He plays basketball.
He plays basketball, and I want to get into that a little bit because this series is going to be about like we spoke about earlier,
Yeah.
you know, sports, entertainment, all of that.
Yeah.
You work with kids
Uh-huh.
on the everyday basis.
Every single day.
You're in the cage with them. It's a video on your Instagram right now. And guys, go follow him, Cory Aldridge on Instagram. You were in the cage coaching a 7-year-old.
Oh man, that was like a couple days ago. His name is Legend, man.
And he gonna turn out.
Hey, I didn't know I didn't know what his name was because like usually people hit me up for like instructions to practice when we go to practice, and they'll just be like, hey, got your name from somebody, when can we come in? In my mind, I'm like, you know, should I know this person?
Right.
You know, so I didn't know his name. He told me his name, the kid did, but I didn't understand it, so I was just kind of like, all right, cool, I'll just call him, what's up, dude, you know? But every time every time I give him instruction, he would literally re-explain what I'm saying back to me in his terms. And it was very awesome for me as a hitting coach or an instructor because I can kind of tap into that mind of what he's thinking. Because I ask my hitters sometimes, you know, like especially like the younger guys, like, what are you thinking when you do this? Because I want to learn how I can relate maybe to somebody else at his age, and it makes it easier for me.
And he gave it right back to you.
He did it, man.
And I think the caption was, "I'm the coach, but
sometimes the student becomes the teacher."
And that was amazing. So I want to touch on that. Working with these kids and the parents, and being a pro athlete yourself, and being around other pro athletes in Houston. What is the culture like here in Houston when it comes to sports?
Man, it is everybody. There's a lot of sports in Houston. I can't say which is biggest. I can't say basketball. I can't say football. I can't say baseball. But it's huge, man. Sports in general is huge. You got people opening up huge facilities for football. You know, training facilities. The training facilities right now is where it's at, especially if you can multitask. Baseball, obviously, there's travel ball teams. You really can't put like this. I have people that come to lessons. They come get lessons and come practice with us that are coming from basketball, football, you know,
everywhere.
I don't even understand how some people do it. I remember when I was growing up, it was like you had baseball practice, basketball season, football season. They really didn't overlap like that. Now you got year-round sports, and plus being in Houston because you don't really have that big winter. So
yeah, we don't have.
You don't have really any. Last year's probably the coldest winter I've seen here in a while. Like
right.
You had
a good 3 to 5 weeks.
Yeah, you got a couple, you know, maybe a couple weeks at the most. So you have that luxury of having that weather. It's kind of like California, so it's catching up with other states like Florida and California, especially on the baseball side, because you can play year-round.
Right.
The only problem I see is I think people are focusing more on the wins and losses than the development of the player.
And now is that in the pros or is that
mostly at the youth level? The pros is always going to be money, man. Like you can watch what's going on right now with NFL and even the NBA. These guys boycotting going to the White House. I mean, I commend them for standing up, but it's always going to be about money. Even if you watch baseball, they're trying to change all the rules of sliding and what, you know, speeding the game up because nobody ever asks the players what they think. And that's just like, that's your job at least, trying to find a happy medium. That's how you avoid the strike talk, stuff like that. You have a players union, and to me it's kind of disrespectful because you're not using that players union.
Right. And without the players, you don't have.
You don't. You know, people are talking about, football players, what they gonna do? They lose viewers. You know, listen, I don't go to McDonald's, man. They still in business. You're not, you know, the league. If you don't have any viewers, you don't have any viewers. The league ain't going there where the owners got billions of dollars. They want to start their own league. Somebody's gonna watch. Somebody's always gonna watch.
Right.
So that's the least of my worries as far as these football players do what they do. At the same time, I hope that your convictions or more convictions that you have are greater than the money you're receiving. Like, if you really care about your people and what you're standing up for or kneeling down for, that should be greater than the money that you're receiving every year. And if you're doing what you're supposed to do, you can take a year off and protest and do what you got to do to make something happen, you know, for a greater cause and leave that money alone.
Yeah, I think coming up, whenever the CBA for the NFL is over with, I definitely think that year we will get that strike.
Yeah, I think
I don't know if it'll be a full season, but I definitely think at least half would be good.
Yeah, I don't see it being a full season because these owners, I think the football players need to understand.
They are being smarter.
They are. Well, I think basketball's helping, especially with what's happening just now. Yes. They need to understand, like, you don't have dominant sports without those guys. And I hate to say it, people of color. You don't have it. You don't have the Olympics without people of color. You don't have football without people of color. Baseball is not as good as it was or has been now without people of color. Whether you call them Latins, Mexicans, Venezuelans, Dominicans, whatever you want to call them, or African Americans. You don't have those great athletes without those guys. You're not gonna, if you don't have those people that are kneeling right now in football, you don't have football. You just don't have it unless you do what they did in baseball and bring out a bunch of what they call scabs and guys just start hiring people to come play. But
replacement players.
Nobody
wants to see
Keanu
Reeves play football.
I don't. Hey, that was a good movie though. That dude was throwing the passes though. But you're right though. Nobody really wants to see that. And people are like, oh, well, they're going to love the game. That's great, but I want to see the best of the best. And and the problem again is it's like stop putting the money at the subject. Put the subject at the subject. How much if you love these athletes so much, won't you see what they're arguing about? Won't you see what they're protesting about?
So do you face that? Because a guy may invest a lot of money into their child playing, but it is what it is. Their child is not good enough, and the parent is not allowing their child to be developed because they want to see a star right now.
And just in this little general 2-mile, 10-mile radius, you got 6, 7, 8, 9, and those are just the major ones. And you have these fly-by-night organizations. Well, these people are paying $200, $300, sometimes $400 a month just to play, not counting the tournaments and the equipment, which I don't mind that. I get that because, if you're paying for a coach to come coach you, you're paying for this guy to come make your kid a better player. But the problem I have is that a lot of these guys, and I don't care if you play Major League Baseball or college, or whatever, if you're a good coach, you're just a good coach. Mm-hmm. But if you're putting the kid's development at the forefront, then that's what's important to me. I'm not going to ever, and we have a great team. Me and Coach Scott, if you're looking on, remember his Instagram name is Coach Scott Moore. He's on Instagram. You probably see him. He's a great coach. He's one of the greatest coaches I know. I wish I had him as a coach when I was playing, whether it was youth or even pro ball. Because he cares, and we care. So even last weekend, we won a tournament, like the 6th tournament we've won in probably the past three months. We're a good team at 14 years old, but if they don't play well, if they don't develop well, if my worst player is not doing this, I'm not happy. I don't care about the wins. I don't get paid more if we win. I don't get paid less if we lose. Obviously my rep is how good these guys hit, and Scott's rep is how good these guys pitch, and obviously cohesively defensive and things like that. So, I have a good reputation as a hitting guy, and he has a great reputation as a coach. But the ultimate goal is development. And that's why I think that we've done so well, is because we'll go kick the crap out of you too, but we're going to make sure you do it right. And some of these teams don't do that. It's just wins and wins and wins. They're damaging kids' arms because they're throwing them too much. I've seen more kids in the past 2 years. There was a kid a couple weeks ago that just literally threw a ball, his arm just snapped. 10, 11 years old. It shouldn't happen that way. I don't know, it could be the food or stuff, whatever, but he's just overthrowing kids just for a win so that coaches record high school baseball. Same thing, these coaches, I'll use Katie, and they can blast me for this or not. Worst high school coach I've ever seen. Katie baseball high school coach. Because he's so focused on his record. Katie rarely puts out a great hitter because he's such a small ball guy. They put out good pitches because this guy just over pitches the guys. He pitches and pitches and pitches. Texas isn't really known for hitters. They're known for arms because of guys like that, because they don't use the talent they have at these high schools. Like if there's big guys 200 pounds and getting home runs, this dude's out there bunting. As I'm a college coach, I don't want to see that. I want to see you swing the bat. Yeah. If you can bunt and run, great, but I want to see you swing the bat. And with the draft and stuff like that just happening right now, I don't see nobody out here getting drafted as a hitter because nobody's producing hitters.
Not from Texas.
Not at least not in this area, not for sure. There's not many in Texas. Most of my scout friends, again, they're always known for pitching. But as far as kind of back to the original subject, it's just you get that money is very influential on the youth game in this area, just in every area, because you can make a lot of it, and these parents don't really understand that. All right, this showcase $500 or $2,000. Your kid's 12, 13 years old. Nobody's looking for you. I'm not looking for a 12, 13-year-old player right now until he's at least 16, 17. So these people are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to these showcases
for nothing,
for no reason, just because so you can go Facebook.
And yeah, and I've had the chance to really at a younger age understand you talk about it on the baseball side. I've seen this on the football side, and I can't speak about other cities. I can only speak about where I'm from. It's like we try to produce young superstars
too early,
way too early, and you know, whatever the case is, if you grow up in a nice area, or if you grow up in places where people from the nicer areas won't come, you know, it's the same problem. Now it may be different in the places that are not nice, the places where I grew up, because older people see that their child is good at something and they want to either live through their child or have their child be the reason where they can get to those nicer areas. And that's a huge problem in Houston itself.
That is, I've heard a number of stories of, and I've even seen it. You know, I'll use a couple of moms that I know for sure that have riding these coattails of these kids in high school and college and stuff, just because they know that she's gonna get a better life. They already have in their mind what car they gonna buy when he gets drafted, where they gonna move to, and things like that. And
they're gonna move here.
Hey, I'm selling this house whenever you want it, but now I'm dead serious. Like, I've seen it, like, and I even got some off the top of my head right now. We just talked about it last week, but it's unbelievable. Like, these people that have these dreams already. Some kids be 10 years old, man. I'm like, he's not even the best kid on his team yet. Like, again, praise the hard work, praise the aggressiveness, hold the kid accountable for it, but let the kid want it more than you. And football is even tougher because you can't hide a bad player. You can hide a bad player in baseball. You can't hide a bad player in basketball, especially in the pro ball. You know, I remember back watching, the Mavericks used to play, they had Sean Bradley, and Sean Bradley would get his 6'7" butt off the bench. As soon as he stood up just to stretch, fans would start booing. And he'd sit back down and he'd start screaming. You can't hide a bad player, man. I feel bad for him because, you know, the dude was making tons of money, had a great career, but it was like, you couldn't hide him. You know, but in baseball you can do that, especially the higher level you go. But that's a huge epidemic of people I tell parents a lot, like, let your kid fail. You know, let him go out there and fail. If he makes an out, great. Don't run to him as soon as he makes that strikeout or that out or that, you know, fumbles a ball or misses that shot. Let him fail. Let him think about it. Let him figure it out, because there's going to come a time when that kid turns 18, 19, 20 years old, he's going to start making decisions. You can't fight that battle. And the greatest players I know, you know, I think like LeBron James, kind of his childhood, me and my wife talked about that the other night a little bit. You know, it could be Barry Bonds, it could be all these guys and people. Some guys have come from some messed up situations. Gary Sheffield, for sure. He's like a big brother. This dude came from messed up situations back in Florida. Him, Dwight Gooden, you know, Jerry Curl's gold teeth and drug-infested areas, you know, gangs and stuff like that, to be like one of the best baseball players ever. You know, that's why they're so good. That's why I can go to Venezuela or Mexico or Dominican and see these kids that barely have a home, that barely eat, but they will come out here and kick the living crap out of every one of these kids out here in Katy or Houston, because they're hungrier, they're stronger. Like, how are they're ready to fight? They'll do anything. They face adversity every day. So baseball's nothing.
Yeah. So, and I remember we had a conversation. We was in the actual game, had a couple beers, and we've discussed, you know, your playing time overseas, in the Latin areas, and those kids. Now, you said that they will come over here to Houston and basically destroy them.
Yeah.
Is it due to kids are lazy, or if you could pick any place in the actual country, the U.S., where would you rank Houston kids when it comes to sports? Because like I said, you played in California, who produces
they got
a lot of players. You played in Atlanta, so you've been around.
I would say your three major states when it comes to sports in general probably would be California, Texas, Florida, and then maybe some New York areas. California used to be a little more dominant in baseball because it was so year-round. Houston, Florida's catching up. Florida's pretty good when it comes to baseball. I think to me, if you kind of do your 3 or 4 major sports, basketball, football, baseball, say 3 sports, Houston would be up there, top 2. I can't say, I would say California, Houston, Texas, or Texas area, and then Florida possibly. But baseball, I say California, you know, Texas, and I think Florida and Texas is kind of a toss-up, because there's some great baseball down in the Coral Springs, Miami area, like because they have a lot of Latin influence. But those kids, like when I've been overseas, their work ethic is different. There's nobody in the way. Like here, I can be instructing the kid on the field or in a cage, and I'm telling the kid something else. One thing, as soon as he gets done hitting, I got his dad trying to reiterate what I'm saying. Like, dude, leave him alone. Like, let him figure it out. Because what you might be telling him, he may not be feeling. Maybe me and him have a connection here. What I'm trying to teach, you know. And I've had times where I put nobody in the dugout. You know, signs, no parents in the dugout, no parents by the cage, because the kid can't do his own thing. I can't stand when a kid fails, somebody run over, hey, Timmy, it's okay, but no, it's not okay. If you didn't give 100%, number one. But if he got out and he did everything he's supposed to be doing, it's still not okay, but let him figure it out. Because I use this analogy all the time with the younger kids. Like Jose Altuve last year, hit like 340. He got like 200 and something hits, like 210 hits. And I ask him all the time, how many outs did he make? And they're like, oh, you know, maybe two. They don't really get it. Like, oh, 100, maybe. But he made like 400 outs, 420 something outs. He made double plus some outs. So baseball especially is a game of failure. But the more you can deal with that and learn to kind of overcome that adversity, it's a great analogy of life too, or example of life. It's like you can go out there and have the best swing and not get a hit in life. You can be having the best day, living the brightest life, the healthiest life, and something bad can happen. That's just life in general. But if you haven't learned to solve your own problems or deal with your own issues, i.e. parents coming up to you every time you fail, you're gonna have to struggle. And I think that's why, you know, sports in general is kind of falling off, especially athletic ability, is because, you know, kids don't go get hurt no more. They don't go scrape the knees and stuff no more. You know, it's tough. Like I'm watching the draft right now with some of my friends that are scouts, and they're just kind of like, once all the athletes are gone, it sucks. And they already got drafted. All the athletes went first, second round.
Right.
Ain't much left out there right now.
So I want to get back to Houston and the way of life and living for you and your family. How long have you guys been here?
Man, I say 2013-ish, something like that.
Good 5 years.
Yeah, I never liked Houston growing up because I didn't know no. So again,
He was an athlete.
yeah. So in my mind, it was like, man, dudes out here sipping syrup. So dudes out here doing this, people getting shot. Well, what I saw was a bunch of crime, and so again, being an athlete, they teach you that nothing's better than athlete. It's safe here. It's great to raise kids here. And it wasn't until I really got drafted. That's the best thing that ever happened to me. Not because whether it was money or baseball or fame or just being able to play professionally, it was I got to actually see what I missed or what I couldn't. I got to see growth.
Right.
So I got to grow a lot of failure, a lot of, man, what is that? A Dominican? What is that? A Puerto Rican? What is that? I didn't know any of that kind of stuff, man. All I knew was either black, white, Mexican, Asian.
And from Abilene.
That's it. and that's it. I didn't know, like, this house to me would have been like a mansion when I was coming up. Because that's all I saw was, we had a nice house growing up compared to all my friends. It was 2-story, whatever, but in my mind, I was like, I'm really doing it out here. Until I left, and I was like, dang, there's really a lot out here. And a lot of people live by that, especially in the South.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people don't really know what's out there, you know. And so, I moved here. I was like, I kind of like this. Katie was cool. It was all right, you know. I got to see people that look like me prevailing, being dentists and lawyers and driving nice cars and not just athletes. So I enjoy that part of it.
So, for the last 5 years you've been here, what has Houston meant for you and your family?
It is an opportunity.
You have kids.
Yeah, it is an opportunity that I didn't have for them to, as far as the kids go, to gain some knowledge itself. You know, some of these kids are like, oh, I want to play pro ball, I want to do this. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool, man. But I tell you guys all the time, you're on Instagram all the time. Like,
Get off.
Well, that, or use it to figure out what you can create. Like, you guys are locked into a system that to be an easy millionaire, create something that kids want. You're a kid. What do you like? Like, create that avenue of what to sell. It could be t-shirts, whatever you create, whatever you make that people can use, because you guys are young, y'all have time to fail. I'm like, use that kind of stuff. But Houston, you know, you have opportunity, growth, creation. You have great food, diversity, sports. I mean, you name it. There's really no limits out here. I'll be honest with you. There's really no limits. Whether you're, again, it doesn't matter what race you are, because the people out here, I get just as much love from, you know, people of color, black people, whatever, as I do like these Venezuelans there, because I play in Venezuela, they're the coolest people I meet out here in Katy.
Yeah.
Like, whether I go to Burger King or wherever restaurant they own over here, in Allegria, or just in the streets, I mean, at the gym or something, they're the coolest people I meet all the time because most of them know me from baseball, but they're just genuine people that are always offering you, man, come over here, we'll cook for you. Come over here, we'll do this. Like, I love the foreigners that are here. I love the people that are here.
And that's one thing about Houston. It's a real melting pot.
It's a melting pot, man.
Like, people come here to do, to be doctors, to do entertainment, to play sports. And the times that not that many times, but the few times that I've had the chance to be around you, whether it was at the Astro game or a couple of weeks back, where we were at the flag football, you are well known. People know Cory.
I don't even know why.
People know you. People know whether it's just hitting you up and word of mouth because, you know, they saw what you were able to do with this 9-year-old that's now hitting like he's 11, wherever the case is.
Yeah.
What I want to ask you, because you played in pros and because you have pro athlete friends that are still, you know, playing right now, what about Houston attracts players? We have free agency coming up for Bronze. Everybody wants to get Bron. And everybody wants to do this. And everybody, it's a lot of stuff the Rockets want to accomplish. It's a lot of stuff, you know, the Texans had to accomplish to get people to come in, on top of the owner that they have. So that was a fight. And even with baseball, I mean, the trade deadline, we got Verlander. And look how that turned out.
You're right.
So what about Houston attracts players to come here? And outside the strip clubs.
Yeah, people love them. I'll be honest, I have never been one. She'll tell you the same thing. That's not my thing. If you do it, great. I just don't understand spending money to go look at girls. I figured I was pretty good at getting girls without having to go to the strip club. So I saved that little money and you can have a drink or something. But with Houston, man, I think it's just because it has a little bit of everything. I think the only thing that it could probably do better on would be the beach. Clean that up. When they clean that up, you got something to me. And that's the toughest part, I think. But you know, you have your beach, you know, you have your food, you have your good malls, you have your high-end clothes, you have your airports, your international airports. They need hockey.
No, we don't need.
Man, you need hockey.
It's too hot.
I did the same thing.
It's too hot. It failed before.
But I wish they did. I do enjoy watching hockey. I don't care if it's minor league hockey. I mean, that's actually the best stuff to me. They fight a lot more. But as a baseball player, if I'm a hitter, I want to go play for the Astros. I'm trying to get up out of there. It ain't a big field. It has great vision.
Great beer.
Great beer. You know, I think they need to step the food game up out there.
Yeah, but you know, like the time we went, we had torches.
They did have torches. That's stepping up a little bit. I don't feel they have like a signature dish though. You know what I mean? Like, I think the Rangers had a huge hot dog. Like, the Astros, they need like Astro burger or something, an Astro Frito pie, something crazy, like something that you can only get there. It should be probably barbecue.
Considering
you know what I'm saying? Like they
but
should
they have Nola Po' Boys is a really good.
They have it there.
Yeah, they have it there.
I don't think I've seen it.
Chris has his stand out there.
Okay.
And they have real good food.
Okay. Really I haven't been out there this year.
Yeah.
So
they
were they there last year?
They were there last year, but I think since there is a Houston-based restaurant, they're from New Orleans, but it's a Houston-based restaurant. It should be more of a Torchy's type thing instead of the stand.
The stand.
The food is good.
The one thing they did have last year, they brought in like some street tacos, some Korean tacos and stuff. I wish they would do kind of like Miami does, is kind of cater to like the outside, that Latin influence too. Like Miami, you go there, you can get arepas out there, like from Venezuela, you can get some Dominican food. Same thing here. There's a huge Venezuelan influence, especially in Katy. They call it Katy Suela. I love to see some Latin food out there. I love to see. I just feel they can do better with the food, but
especially look at that. We have a lot of.
There's a lot of ways. And like cater to it. Let them people come in there. Like use that for like the mom and pop places. Like you have maybe some mom and pop stores in the place. You know, like Pop Soap. I don't know if you look on Instagram. There's a place called Pop Soap. They make their own soaps. You know, some of these vegan joints, juice bars, whatever. Do whatever. But I wish they do better with that kind of stuff. But I think Houston's an awesome place to play. Other than it is kind of hot sometimes.
And traffic.